Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast straight from the Propaganda Ministry here in Denmark with me, ImperialDane, and today is a very special episode. It is episode number 100. Yes, indeed, this is the 100th episode. I have been making a lot of episodes since I began just a few months ago. I do believe in the end of March, or was it the beginning of April? I can't remember anymore. It doesn't matter really. What matters is I've made 100 episodes, and in those 100 episodes I've gained close to 420 subscribers. Absolutely amazing, and I'm certainly quite happy with all of you wonderful subscribers. You're all wonderful, charming people, and this is of course an amazing channel, and I certainly hope to be gaining a lot more subscribers in the future. And certainly I have learned a lot of things. I've gained some improvements, some things I can't improve because I don't quite have the money for it yet. For example, getting widescreen, which is something some people want, but that requires money to get a widescreen monitor, and as a student, money is something I don't have in huge abundance of. So that's sort of something that will have to wait. Otherwise, to sort of celebrate this, I sort of wondered, well, what to do? Should I start a tournament? But then I realized I'm not really much of a tournament organizer. I have absolutely no experience, and I don't really have any cash prizes to offer up anyway, so it would seem sort of follow. Then I sort of figured, well, some sort of competition would be nice, and how about something that rather fitted in with the whole propaganda theme? So I figured on some sort of actual propaganda contest, i.e. having people creating some sort of propaganda material in forms of wallpapers, forum signatures, or forum avatars. Yes, indeed, I am in fact announcing a small competition for the more creative people out there to get to work to create something to celebrate Company of Heroes, this amazing game which we've had for several years now, and of course also the Propagandacast. You can do both, you can do either, doesn't really matter as long as it's Company of Heroes or the Propagandacast. You can make a wallpaper about it, use screenshots, use something else, as long as it's not offensive in any sort of way or something that can actually get me in trouble in terms of copyright and all that. So no swastikas for the first part, and preferably no SS runes either. Yes, I know some people are going to be a bit disappointed, but truly I'm going to have to say this: a lot more people would be upset or just annoyed if they actually got in. It's not really the point now, is it? It's actually the combat, not the politics we look at here. So I hope people will be enthused and actually try and make an effort, because it would really be nice to actually have some fresh wallpaper, since, well, there's actually been very little on that front for so many years. So people get cracking with their paint or photo editor programs or whatever. And let's hope we can't get something that's worthy of Company of Heroes, company worthy of the Propagandacast, and just great fun, eh? Now then, let's get on to the actual match itself. A 2 versus 2 on Lorraine. Yes, indeed, it is Lorraine. A bit sometime we have seen that. And who shall be facing us in this small town in the Alsace-Lorraine region? None other. Well, I don't know who the two are. Maurice of the British and Anthalas of the 19th Infantry Division, part of Patton's 3rd Army, crashing their way towards Germany. And who shall be opposing them? None other than me, Major Dane and Hauptmann Kilrathisoldier, a friend of mine actually. And yes, I do play with other people sometimes, but it's just a bit rare. Usually I just prefer 1 versus 1 on my own, slowly climbing up towards the ladders, and I'm certainly somewhere in the top 200 with the Wehrmacht at the moment, for example. But me and Kilrathi here, featuring as the 106th Panzer Brigade Feldhernhalle. Yes, indeed, as sort of curious organization during the later stages of World War II, the Feldhernhalle itself being composed partly of old Sturmabteilung members, that is the precursor to the SS. Less evil, just more a bunch of roughhouses. Now then, let's get on with this. Of course, we have 2 Panzer Elite players versus the rather ominous American and British combination, which certainly has some power. The British with the forward headquarters, and certainly you'll find them usually in fact parked right up here, taking this point and then placing the truck here to actually prevent anyone from actually taking it here, and then being more defensible from up here. As to the map itself, I don't believe there's been made any changes, except perhaps opening up a few places here and there. For example here, I do believe that's actually been opened up. Usually you couldn't actually get through down there. Otherwise you do have this house. And yes, we are chatting, that's in Danish, and no, I'm not going to translate. I wouldn't have time to follow everything else, but of course this building here, nice for a machine gun, but this is the weak side, so of course if you see someone in there, get right behind there. Kettenkrats for both, Panzer Grenadiers marching outwards from both forces, while the British are going straight for this point. We'll probably be seeing a truck going straight for that point very soon. Lieutenant as well, and we're seeing a third unit out. And yes, we were talking about how I thought I'd chosen Wehrmacht, but instead I ended up with the Panzer Elite. But there you go, not a big deal. I am not exactly unfamiliar with the Panzer Elite, so no huge deal. Quickly mobilizing troops towards the north, as I'm figuring that is where all the combat shall be. Kilrathisoldier joining in the center as well. First engineer team forced back. We are seeing engineers moving towards the south, while riflemen are moving towards the center. Not much in terms of combat troops from the British commander. They're moving his reconnaissance section towards the north, and we are seeing a second infantry section, and there we go, headquarters command truck packing up. Panzer Grenadiers engaging in the center. First rifleman team a bit on its own, while we are seeing an engineer sneaking about in the south. I'll probably have to move my troops down there, since the only thing otherwise there is a Kettenkrat, and Kettenkrats are unarmed, as most people should know. There we go, nice harassment attempt by Kilrathisoldier. Kettenkrat, of course, aware that this is usually the spot you might see a British headquarters command truck setting up, and so delaying that. Panzer Grenadiers marching towards the south with all speed, as those engineers are continuing on their own predetermined path, but taking the point instead of actually focusing down the Kettenkrat, which is only to my advantage. While from the north, Panzer Grenadiers are finally getting close. Kampfgruppe Company going up as usual. I do prefer that, and getting an infantry half-track to support my own troops, and it also allows me a greater amount of mobility, getting my troops from here to there, and of course reinforcing on the spot, so it's quite powerful. And we see a large fight off there. For some reason Kilrathisoldier has not actually used this building, which could actually be a bit of an advantage there. Instead he is now getting absolutely swarmed. Not looking too good. In fact, he's going to have to pull back with all of his Panzer Grenadiers. And looks like one Panzer Grenadier team has in fact been lost. Probably a sniper shot from that reconnaissance section. Not good at all. And once more I am forced to mobilize most of my forces towards the center, as the allied forces of Patton's 3rd Army are focusing in there. Not bad job in coordinating forces. And I'm sort of the one left to deal with all of this. Not looking too good. And who knows if Kilrathisoldier perhaps used this building, things might have looked a bit better, but not much to do about that now. Going to have to pull back. Not looking good for that Panzer Grenadier team. Might be cut down on retreat, yes, most tragically. But infantry half-track is swift on the move. Reconnaissance section taking quite a bit of fire from those Panzer Grenadiers with the Gewehr 43. And we are seeing a full retreat, but the infantry half-track is on the move. Slowly lurching through the ruins with its light machine gun. Looks like it might be catching some Americans right out in the open. Apparently not. The rifleman moving towards the south, and my Kettenkrat gets a bit bold, moving towards the enemy territory right here in the park and seizing that munitions point. And infantry half-track moving south to join up with the other Panzer Grenadiers I have left right there, waiting for something to happen. And we are seeing a lieutenant taking on this Kettenkrat. The Kettenkrat swiftly getting out of there, while Kilrathisoldier apparently goes straight for the Panzer Jäger commander. We'll definitely be seeing armored cars. Rather his MO, modus operandi. How he usually does things, not something I agree with necessarily, but there you go. Riflemen having a bit of a spot of trouble with this half-track and those Panzer Grenadiers, while further are being marched south to help out a bit. And going for the Panzer Support Command, expecting perhaps some armor. But no, we are instead seeing the Weapon Support Center out for the Allies. A mortar team, in fact. And looks like the Headquarters Command track is instead set up right here at this medium munitions point. While British troops are moving towards here to a bit of harassment. So far, most of the map is currently in Allied hands. Not looking good. But a large counter-attack force, plenty of Panzer Grenadiers with Gewehr 43s. Infantry half-track engaging the riflemen right here. Panzer Grenadiers aboard as well, the ones with the Gewehr 43s. Firing away, catching two riflemen and killing them. And they are forced into a full rout. Further engagement right here. In fact, looks like he has two lieutenants to actually run around and seize territory. A bit excessive, since it is in fact a bit expensive in terms of fuel. And we are seeing a field support truck as well. That will probably then be setting up here. British troops hanging in just barely though, and the infantry half track moving in from the south. Panzer Grenadiers and a Kettenkrad as well. Looking to be a slight pincer maneuver here, attacking from numerous sides, hoping to crush the allies right here. And moving in here, riflemen looking a bit shabby, caught out in the open against all of these troops. Sticky bombing the infantry half track. Panzer Grenadiers getting out of the half track as flamethrowers approach, as they can actually do quite a bit to troops inside half tracks like that. Engineer team though killed. Second rifleman team marching in. Half track is not in a good position. Another sticky bomb goes off, but the riflemen are losing heavily. And a full rout from here. Half track is kaput. But further Panzer Grenadiers are marching in though, putting on the pressure, and now an armored car as well, blasting away with its auto cannon. There's certainly a few heavy casualties for the Allies right here in the center, but certainly not good for the Germans either. Not an entirely certain exchange. Light anti-tank half-track on the field though. We'll probably be seeing some Panzer Support Command upgrades. There we go. What shall be coming out of it? The Panzer IV, or perhaps a Hotchkiss, we shall see. I certainly won't be telling. That would be ruining the fun. And looks like this armored car was a bit too close, but it does manage to get out of the range of the buttons. Up and fires away, catching a few riflemen right out in the open, brutally slaughtering them. No survivors. And we see the mortar team continue to fire. Anti-tank half-track moving in a bit too boldly, but I figured I might as well, firing away with its focused fire, catching a few British troops out in the open. And killing a sapper, a lot of lieutenants in fact. How many officers? Because there's certainly an awful lot of bonuses for that infantry. Blowing up, of course. Veterancy bonus aren't so stackable now, which is thankfully nice. Veterancy ones are a bit more, but certainly not that hugely. So British blobs in that sense won't be so powerful. And we'll have to see what will be coming out of the Panzer Support Command. And meanwhile, Panzer Grenadiers are on the march. Anti-tank and half-tank as well, and we are seeing the Kettenkrad moving towards the north here, as I am suspecting that because of the heavy allied presence in the center, that he has absolutely nothing in the north. Again, that's something you can try to sort of use. I mean, if your opponent is really in one spot, then he's probably not anywhere else, so go for that. It's a bit of a rule of thumb there, not the best one. And there I go, asking for doctrine. It's a good idea to generally ask, so you can coordinate your abilities and get the best sort of synergy and of course coverage of ability, so don't both end up with the same ability and then you discover that, oh right, another doctrine might actually help because your opponent went for a lot of armor, for example. And looks like these chaps are getting a bit under fire. One Panzer Grenadier is down, but the anti-tank half-track is not stopped. It blasts away. Panzer Grenadier is waiting down here, perhaps expecting some sort of assault. And what is this? The Hotchkiss light tank. Yes indeed, ladies and gentlemen. This game will indeed be featuring Hotchkiss light tanks. A bit rarely used, but they are alright. And that's also because, in fact, there has been some requests for me to actually show it off. So there you go. Sorry for the delay, but there it shall be used. In fact, getting two Hotchkiss light tanks who have received some buffs to their accuracy, which was sorely needed. Plus their Wurfrahmen upgrade, the Stuka bit there. It has been made a bit cheaper, so it actually makes a bit more sense. And there we go. First Hotchkiss light tank. And I am warning my teammate about stickies. Sticky bombs, that is. And there we go. Wurfrahmen upgrade going up on this Hotchkiss as it marches. Slowly it crawls towards the front line. Not entirely sure what to expect, but I do know this will probably be a good spot for artillery barrages. And